Welcome to Sunday Sessions, hosted by Vibe Unit. If this is your first time hearing about Vibe Unit, let me tell you about us. We are a launch pad for creatives of all types. Our aim is to build community and facilitate creativity. And one way we accomplish this is this Sunday stream. We get together right here every Sunday with musicians, and we talk about our musical interests and our creative pursuits. If you are a musician and you'd like to join us on a Sunday stream, you can email us at media@vibeunit.com. And for our viewers, if you know any musicians or creative types that would enjoy this, pass this along. We stream on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And while you're there, subscribe and follow us. That is a great way to support us. As we grow our community, we have been extremely thankful to our donors. So if you'd like to donate to Vibe Unit, you can do so. We have a Cash App and a Patreon, and that helps us immensely. Today, session 87. We have a great episode for you. I did miss one thing in the intro there. We have a website. We haven't talked about it much, but it's vibeunit.com. And you can check that out right now, actually, in another tab. You could open it up, and you could go to vibeunit.com, and if you have any questions or anything whatsoever, you could go there, and you can learn all about us. We have a lot of resources on there, so if you're just watching and you want to do that, I highly encourage that. It's an awesome website. Home brewed, in fact. Really cool looking. We have a great episode for you today. Like I said, session 87. It's John and I here. We're going to hang out, talk about some music, and let's get into it.
Cool. 87, you said?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do the JHS. Yeah, 87.
Yeah. Josh in the background. They just switched to him. He's looking like kind of half annoyed, you know?
I muted that keys thing earlier, so at any time we could mute it and unmute from our own computers.
The loop, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh. So is it still playing?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
Somewhere hidden behind a muting wall.
Very nice.
I had a pick earlier.
There's a pile of them over there we found when we were cleaning up yesterday.
I keep grabbing picks and then walking away with them, and I just don't know where they go.
Yeah, that's a common problem. We probably need to get more. And speaking of which, it's a great segue, right? All the donations that we get have all gone into like supply costs and upgrades and that kind of thing. And we actually did a bunch of those this week.
Let's point some of those out, actually.
Yeah, you want to highlight some of that?
Yeah. So the first thing.
Let me pull this reverb bus. It's annoying
that
me
sounds
for
good.
some reason.
So the first thing that we improved here is we noticed that we need some better seating in here. We hadn't really come up with a plan on how to deal with this, but we happened to be at the thrift store, and we found these stools, the one behind me and the two to my left and right, and they are comfortable, which is huge, because we want to encourage people to stay.
True. Hey, come over here and play music with us, but you're not going to have fun doing it.
We recognized that was a problem, and seating in here is quite difficult because we take up quite a bit of the room with the gear. So anything like this was huge.
Yeah, they were a worthwhile find. The other thing that was sweet about finding those, I think specifically though too, is that they are exactly like our white and black color scheme that we had going on already kind of in here. It's like white and black and then like whatever the hardware colors are, you know, which is silver in that case. But yeah, just they matched, you know. If we had gone to like custom order something, that's what we would have gone with anyway, probably.
Right.
It's just hilarious
it blows my mind that we got that.
So yeah, we were able to get those, and then what else do we do?
So the other thing we realized last week, we had so many people in here that were like, we need more stations and we need more places for headphones. So we use these little attenuators. They're pretty cost effective. They're just a little volume pot that you can control the global mix of our headphones here. So we added a couple of those to attach to the stands, and these mounts that come with them are really cheap.
Yeah, those were like a random pickup that I found when we were trying to solve the headphone issue when we were still in the basement, and they've turned out to be really good. I feel like those were like what in the like $10 or $12 kind of range, and the clips were like another $7 or $8. So
yeah,
I mean, for like maybe something around $20,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
we were able to get those for station. We got another stand, I know.
Oh, that's right. We actually we put 2 new stands out on the floor.
True.
But we gained a stand, which I'm not sure where that.
We ate it up with a new
That's
camera,
right.
which we'll get to.
So we'll get to that. Yeah, a couple new stands, and then also for the vocalist that comes through, whoever that may be. Now we've got some quality of life improvements for you. The Voice Live, we wanted to make. I don't know if you remember, a couple weeks ago we used a Voice Live, which you can sing into a microphone and it will chord out your voice and make it harmonize, which is really cool. But we didn't want to have like a singular. We didn't want to have a singular purpose for that. Like, how do you explain it?
We didn't want to force the vocalist into a path that was affected,
Right.
or not as a choice for the session. So we ended up basically running two separate paths. One is just the clean vocal on the stand for kind of doing whatever with, and then the second one there, I don't know if we're on that camera or not, but if we are, Mike's holding up the second mic, which we have there on the stool, and that is just that just runs through the effects. So if you want to try to set up some other sort of sound or whatever, you can do that right in parallel with whatever we're doing and
That's
still
right.
talk to everybody and whatever,
and not
have
mess
to
with-
worry that it'll
Exactly.
screw something up or make it difficult for anybody else. So
It was a problem where we would choose not to use the Voice Live because of the limitation of gain stage, where we'd have to change things around constantly to get everything to work and to match. And you can change through settings on there and change the gain structure on everything in the room. So just separating them out made sense. And I actually didn't tell you this, but I did order a double mount for the stand, so we can
very
have
nice.
both microphones, but that's
Very
not here
nice.
yet.
cool.
So
Yeah,
And-
the plan there is to just be able to kind of pick and choose what you want to do. I mean, if you don't want to use it, flip the switch off and just don't use it then. But
Yep,
it's
yep.
just an option. You know, the idea being just like everything else we have sitting around here is just a tool in the toolbox to use to kind of get you where you want to go. We wanted to have some of that available to the vocalists as well. So yeah, it feels good to kind of have a dedicated spot for that. I feel like even when we were at the basement, we had multiple times thought through when we did the arrangement. We had the conversation where we said, well, if we have some vocalists, where will they go?
Right.
Well, how will we set it up? But
Exactly.
those were always transient type positions, you know, because they would come and go or just most of the time not be required. Like a lot of the singing that was going on was, you know, some more singer-songwriter oriented. You know, like Nick would come through and, you know, he'd be playing an instrument and singing. So, you know, whatever mic he already had in front of him was a vocal. So, yeah, it's neat that there's just a spot. If your instrument is your voice, we have a spot for
exactly.
that now. So
And we the last few weeks, we've had a vocalist here that only sings. So we wanted to provide more tools to that person to be more creative, where they're not stuck with just their voice. They get effects and stuff.
we've had a couple like that, so it's good. I'm glad that's just going to be a permanent fixture at this point.
Exactly.
And there's still a little bit of room, I was going to say as well, if we want to reconfigure and add a little more. We talked about we have an actual piano here as well.
Yep.
That we'd like to use actually, and we have another mic that's floating around. We might get hooked up in there at some point. Yeah. Maybe have another station over there. So
Ash, did someone?
Yeah.
say-
We have our loyal fan Seth
Oh.
in, and he said, "Hi guys, hope you have a great weekend."
Oh,
awesome.
thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hope you have a great weekend too.
Thank
he
you
also
very much.
said, "Thanks for having me last week. He had so much fun."
Oh,
Hey.
man, we were gushing all week about it.
Yeah, it honestly set our whole week correct. I think I've been reflecting on that last week's session a lot during this week, and yeah, I was on a high for sure.
I met with Vic midweek. We're working on that song "Worlds Away" that we were
Great
kind of
song.
playing with. Yeah, that we played with now a couple of times on stream. We tried it really when it was really rough early. We played with it a little.
Yep.
It didn't really
last
do
week
it.
we
you
had
know?
kind of the full band experience
Exactly.
with
We
it.
had,
It helped
we had
round
really
it
good
out.
players, and just boy, that bass line just really did it. And when I went back and started figuring out the recording for a lot of it, I was taking notes and going back and listening to exactly like, all right, what did Seth play there?
Yeah.
Like, because that was, you know, it was tasteful. It was just
Yeah.
what should have been there. So that was just great. We were just both talking about it like, boy, like, isn't that just the perfect thing there? It's like, yeah, it sure is.
I don't know if Seth, if you are a session musician, but you know, maybe down the road it'd be nice to call you in as the big guns with the bass, you know.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Really,
So-
really good sound.
What else did we change in here?
Trying to think.
Two more things come to mind. We have the cables and we have the GoPros.
Yeah, I think that's more or less what else well, we did. Okay, so worthwhile to mention. Now this is
Right.
not this is an unsexy businessy kind of item, right? But we moved some things around and just kind of tried to find a better way to organize the stuff we're not using. So we found a little bit of shift that worked right in the room when we figured out how we wanted to arrange, things in a different way over where Mike is at the moment, and that worked out really well. And then part of that was because we kind of struck things down to a certain level and recabled everything, which that was really, really nice. Some of you, if you've been watching for a while, we've fought with bad quality of cabling for a good bit now. If any of you
Even
have
last
you
week.
if you've ever gone and tried to see what it costs to buy a lot of cables, it's pretty pricey. Even if you don't go after really high-end stuff, it can really add up quick. And interestingly, obviously, if you've been watching a while too, we have had in the past a purely analog setup. And when you do that, everything that goes anywhere needs a cable. And there's no plugins, there's no easy routing or hacks, there's no way to get around anything. It's all, if you need signal from here to there, you're going to need to buy a cable. And so at the very, very start when we were doing this, and it was very low scale and low budget, we needed like 20-something cables,
Yeah.
I think, originally, where it was like, this is the
Yeah.
minimum we can buy to have just stuff connected. It wasn't even about how good is it. It was just, is it hooked up?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to go so far as to say like we made a bad call, because it made
It
sense.
was
at the
necessary at the time.
but
we had to do it.
It was not high quality
Yeah.
stuff, and the thing that really bit us was the quality of the connectors on the end. A lot of them are, we'll just say, not very tight tolerance wise, and so you'll plug them into a mic and they're kind of loose, or they don't really lock in the right way. So you're constantly hunting down weird problems of things not being connected or being marginally connected, which is honestly even worse, because then you have to try to like hope you catch it at the time it isn't working. And there's hours you can watch of us on stream all the way back, going like,
we talked about that before
like
stream.
into like go back to like session 20s and 30s and find like an hour of Mike and I sitting there going like, do you hear that? Is it gone yet?
And then
is
it's
it
like
still there? And then you
we're
go and mess
muting
with
channels, trying to figure
it.
it
Yeah,
out.
you mess with it for like a half
yeah.
hour, and you're like, I think it's still there. I don't think any of that did a thing. And then you start second guessing your troubleshooting method. I mean, it was really something. And then in the very end, you finally swap the cable again and realize, both of the first two cables I tried were bad. Even the replacement I grabbed wasn't any good.
That led us to where we are here. We're actually preparing for a larger cost. So we
were the plan for a while there was like, okay, the more we're having things come and go in here and things are changing, we need higher quality interconnect, because it's going to get plugged and unplugged a bunch, and we just want to be able to rely on it. So we were preparing already to buy a good quantity of cables.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, I got online, I don't know, sometime like Thursday, I want to say, and was inspecting like various multi-packs, you could buy, because it's usually a couple dollars, not a lot, but a couple dollars cheaper if you buy like, 6 or 10 packs instead of just one, add 10 to the cart or whatever. So I get on there and I'm looking at this 6-pack of cables that's normally $79. And that's what I'm used to it being, $60, $70.
Yeah.
It's usually about $1 a foot. And these are 25-foot cables, and there's 6 of them in a pack, and the pack's like $24, which doesn't even make any sense at all. But seeing that, and given that I was just about ready to buy cable anyway, I ended up buying a bunch.
They ended up being, like, so far, they feel a lot better connecting to things.
Yeah, like nothing. All the problems I just mentioned about like being marginal or like not fitting well in things, these are all made by GLS, which we're not sponsored by them or anything like that. But
not in the slightest.
as the budget cables go, they seem to be about the best you can do. Other than I've come across a couple that are honestly great, but they're hit or miss. You know, it's
Mhm.
not like I can go back and buy that exact one again. So
Yeah.
these are the most consistent I've found on the low end of the price scale. And this, like I said, this particular buy was even cheaper than I imagined them being. It was just unbelievably cheap. So we got that done. We we had a weird issue with the drum mics that we had bought when we were in the basement. One of them has some weird noise issue or something. I don't know exactly what's wrong with it, but again, an intermittent problem that I don't think was cable related, and so we quit using them.
Yeah.
Which, interestingly enough, the remaining working mic might end up being the perfect fit for putting on the piano, like we were talking about.
Awesome.
But anyways, we bought another set of drum mics
Yeah.
and enough cables to replace every cable in here that we had bought originally, all the ones with, we'll just say, subpar connectors.
Yep.
So I think all of those problems are solved now. And then in addition, Mike brought another piece, which is a super change that is noticeable to our viewers. Maybe say a couple words about that.
Yeah, so I happen to have a GoPro. I had another stream I was doing last year, but I'm tabling that for a moment to focus more on this. In the meantime, that means there's a GoPro available. So I thought to myself, this place needs another camera angle. So I think it ended up being this one up here. Am I right?
Yeah, the new changed wide shot.
The wide shot. Hello.
Is the new camera.
Yeah, so we added that. So we had 3 GoPros. Now we have 4, which gave us a lot more flexibility on where we could set cameras and get better angles. We were doing a thing. You may have noticed that we would like do zoom in shots of GoPro shot. Like we'd have a main
Cropped,
shot.
yeah.
It'd be a cropped shot, and it ended up being a little grainy in some cases. And so we were like,
Seth says it looks great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We were doing crop shots, and it looked grainy. We weren't interested in having we were working with what we had, but that wasn't ideal for us. I know for myself, having less pixely looking cameras is obviously we don't want that.
Yeah, we like to have a reasonably high production value, at least in terms of what our budget will allow for. Whatever we can MacGyver up or
And we
or
MacGyver.
afford. And that was the crop and zoom method was a very MacGyver way, but it gave us back some more individual kind of shots.
Yep.
I don't know. It was something worth trying. I don't know if I would go back to it though.
No,
I just think it looks very much better with individual shots.
It felt right to donate that, and I feel like the amount of quality has grown tremendously. So I'm really thankful. I'm totally content with that, and I think it looks really good in here now.
Well, and it's also worthwhile to mention that brought us to, I guess you could say, our first technical milestone in terms of our video production, because our switching platform only has 4 inputs, so we're now maxed out. So until we're ready to have a conversation about it the way we did about replacing our big format analog board with something digital in here, that was, I don't remember exactly what we spent on that. Was that like $1,800 or something in that neighborhood?
Yeah.
So my point is, it's not cheap equipment,
No.
but it makes a huge difference. And so that's going to be another one, probably the next or the only real big ticket item past what we had to do with the audio. That's the next step up for us in terms of video. So at this point, now that we've grown, as you were talking about earlier, adding a new position for vocals is a big deal.
Yeah.
We now have, let's count them here, 1, 2, because it's bass, drums, keys, guitar, vocal. That's 6.
Yep.
So I mean,
with
even
headphones, inputs for everyone, almost enough headphones for everyone. We're still working on that.
well, on the video side of things, my point on this is
go ahead.
even if we had 6 cameras, we don't currently have a way to deal with 6 cameras.
I
so
see
my
how you're
point is,
bridging that. Yeah.
until we're ready to jump down that hole and budget for that, this is what we're working with.
We can hang here for a bit.
So-
We're comfortable.
Yeah,
here.
we've reached a nice plateau where we can kind of look out at the valley below.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should say look at the valley behind and go, wow, I don't know about all that. That's where we were before. It's a good spot.
So yeah, I mean, apart from just moving things in a little closer this way, having the stools, we did buy another pair of headphones, so there'll be less headphone issues in the future. We're hoping to get another pair by the end of the month, and then we got more room to move around. I feel a lot more comfortable. I'm just gonna say, standing right here talking at this moment, I feel like I have a lot more space. I put this guitar on and I don't feel like I'm going to hit the other guitar player.
That's
know,
huge.
Which is good. And that's why we set this up in such a way where like things are tiered a little bit over here, and it's probably hard to see on camera, but you know, it feels a lot more comfortable. You feel a lot more flexible. I'm excited to get as many people in here as we had last week to see how they feel about it. So I guess that's a good way to segue into, hey, if you want to be on an episode, we are anxious to share this with people. We are excited.
Yeah, the door's open, the coffee's on, you know, as they say. So
I want to share this with as many people as possible. Jon and I mentioned this past week, how blessed we are and how thankful to have a space to come every week, hang out with musicians. It's been really, really good impact on my my emotional health and my mental health, just being able to hang out and also gain new friends, like through the music, bringing people together and seeing some of the offshoots of creative projects that are happening as a result of us being able to meet together.
yeah.
That has been awesome.
Yeah, like I kind of mentioned it briefly earlier. This week I was working on trying to do something with, Worlds Away, and we got everything patterned out, started getting recording down, and we got most of a demo put together. It's just a matter of kind of laying a couple more guitar parts, and then come back and have Emmy do her vocal takes on it. It's gonna be cool, man. I'm excited to just be working on a cool little song with them, and something that was kind of like not birthed here maybe because they had started working on it before they brought it here, but cool to have seen something kind of develop out of it. That's always really neat.
Yep.
Well, you before we started, you had a cool little spacey ambient synth loop going.
Yeah.
I'm really anxious to actually hear that again. So if I can indulge it, if you don't.
Yeah, play it. Start it up. I'm gonna walk over to the picks and I'm grabbing one.
While you're up, could you go and make the click less tonal? Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't think of the right word. Just a little less, I mean, that's probably all right.
Feels way nicer right here than being so far away from the drums. I like this spot.
Looks great too on the camera.
Hi.
Yeah, in kind of response to what you were saying about the reconfiguration, and maybe you can't exactly see it on the broadcast exactly, but things are kind of in a semicircle now, and they're tiered out, as you were saying, in such a way that from where I'm sitting here, there's nothing blocking my sight line to any of the musicians that would be here, which I really like. And I don't know if that's true of all the other positions. I haven't sat at all of them, but that's something I feel like we should shoot for. I like that.
Seth said, I wish we had something like this when we were growing up. You guys are doing a great thing for our local music scene.
Yeah, and that's just it too. Like it is, you don't got to be, washed up in 35 like me. You're welcome to come here, be involved.
Yeah, we've been. Look, that's been a. How do I put this? The right out of high school age group is not necessarily our target demographic. We want to target everybody, but for me, when I think about this stuff, I think of myself as late high school, early college years, just wishing I had something like this.
That's it.
So I envision that. And all ages, like I said, but that's where I put myself when I think about this. And
I don't know if
to
we've
what
ever
Seth
said
said.
that specifically, but I'm glad that Seth brought that
Yeah.
up because that is part of the heart of this.
Yeah.
Is we want everybody that's looking for an opportunity to be involved to do so if they want. So, and like Mike said, we're not marketing specifically to the younger crowd, but they're if they're going to be respectful and enjoy what we're all collectively trying to do here, they're welcome too. Everyone's welcome.
Oak Tree says, ooh, this is a jam. Super cool, Mike. So ethereal.
Thank you. Shout out to Oak Tree, the best grunge band and slash I don't know what other genre you market yourself as, but I really like your vibe.
We got to get them back in here.
Yes.
Definitely.
Come visit.
Michael, if you're listening to this, I've been really I've been going back and listening to some of the tracks we recorded a while back. I need to hear more recent versions of those, but they're as impactful now as they were when I heard them the first time. Great writing.
Fantastic stuff.
I'm gonna mess around a little bit on the synth, I think. Moving along those chords a little faster now.
He says, thanks, man. We just got a new drummer. Again, LOL.
Well, good. At least you're moving forward, you know?
Right?
Better than none.
I need some kind of like noise thing, but it needs to be filtered rhythmically.
Yeah.
Something very quiet. I don't want it to be insane, right? I want it to be some sort of like, just like when you want to like take it second off the drums for, you know, and just let something ride to feel out the rhythm again. I need to create something like that. There's a ton of options, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that right now. In this weird posture I have to be in until we get this keyboard thing figured out. You know, something that we should think about doing, because I think we could do it now. We have enough inputs and outputs for it. We should get an interface for this, and we should run a dedicated line from the computer into this, or from the X32 into this, record samples from the room, and then we can loop them back from this computer. That'd be pretty easy to do it the way we're set up.
Oak Tree says, some sort of bass line, maybe?
Yup. We'll have to get to that. I might have to move over there. Or I could just put bass on the keys. First I'm gonna get some noise. That's a lot of noise.
That is a lot of noise.
Ooh, a little harsh on the ears.
Sorry, viewers.
Sorry, viewers. I'm gonna have that sustained, but I'm gonna bring the bandpass on here, and then we're gonna turn the volume down on that. Oh yeah! All right, let's get that. I use this thing on Logic, built in. It's called the auto filter. Pretty standard stuff. You can send any signal into the LFO, like you can hear here. I'm just gonna send it to a square wave. Okay, I'm going to try the sawtooth. And also need to turn the resonance down. That's cool. Okay. It's going to be slower than that. Eventually.
Sounds like waiting for the drop and it just never
It
happens.
was a bop.
Yeah, I don't have any bass drop samples, so I can't do the rest.
Guess we have to have it constantly go.
What have you got in the synth?
Ooh, Oak Tree says that sounds like a wave or the inside of a seashell.
It does, actually.
Add that to this. You'll hear this again.
Wait. I'm joking. Not really, though.
Vic's on, and he just said, "I wish I was able to watch this. This was he was opening night, opening mic, practicing for opening mic." Vic can't wait to watch.
What's up, Vic?
What time is it? What's actual time? Because today I have a constraint.
Oh, really?
How?
It
First
is
of all,
3:31.
what time did we start?
How long
We've
have
been
we
going for 39 minutes.
Okay.
Do another
Say
30
today-
minutes?
I'll say we can do probably maybe another 10 to 15 minutes
Okay.
tops.
Short stream. I'm totally good with
It's
that.
got to be because I got to be somewhere.
Well, I'm about to make some sweet music over here. So. Then we can do that
So
10
we-
minutes.
We can do like one more little jam.
Maybe just maybe I'll change the key. No, I'll just stick with this.
Technically today, more than anything, is just about telling everybody what we did and doing like a more extended sound check because we haven't really this is the most we've tried anything since we reset everything up. So.
That's awesome. If I put that through a delay, it will carry on the essence of that noise. So I'm gonna choose to use a tape delay, and I'm just gonna choose a random preset one.
Oak Tree said this chord progression is so satisfying.
Thanks. I stole it. I can tell you exactly where I got it from. I don't know if you've ever played Donkey Kong, but it's like the intro chord progression to that. Maybe I can play the melody and you'll know what I mean. Yeah, I like that little noise just to kind of give it some texture in there. That's cool. You're just like sitting in on a skylight right now. This is what we do on the other stream. That will
This
come.
is way more like Skylight than the usual fare, right?
Yeah, it sure is. Oh, that's funny. See, I like this kind of stuff. I like how just soothing it is and how comforting. You know? I'm trying to get to something here. Do I have any like presets in here that's like decent? We're almost there. What's this? General purpose? That's it. That's the wrong chord there, but yeah, that's that song. If you recognize that melody, 90s kids would know.
Only 90s kids know what this is.
It's like a chill version of that Donkey Kong theme. thanks for tuning in. That's about it for us. Let's see, where's that? I'm just going to fade this out so it's not so abrupt. Turn this music. I'm not sure where that, oh, it must be coming from this. Oh, am I sending that somewhere? I am. Weird. That was cool. Okay. I had no idea how my routing works in this thing.
Oak Tree said, great vibes at the Vibe Unit, per usual.
Thanks, Oak Tree. Okay, so last order of business is just to remind everyone to check us out on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook and subscribe and follow where that's appropriate on those platforms.
Yep.
We have Instagram. And if, again, we have a web...
I was say, there you go. Go for it.
I was just going to say, we have a website. You can check it out right now. You could open another tab right now and look up vibeunit.com. There is a bunch of resources on there, pictures. If you've been on this episode, on an episode of Sunday Sessions, you probably will see your picture up there on the website. So if you're curious about that, check it out.
All the information about what to expect if you're coming down for a Sunday is there, so look out for that. If you're thinking about doing that, if you want some more info, do that. And then once you're done reading that, if you like what you read, hit the email, media@vibeunit.com. Let us know what you're trying to do, when you're trying to come through, and we'll get it all scheduled up.
Beautiful. See y'all next week.
87?
That was 87.
87,
as far as
baby. 88 next week.
Start
so
losing track.
Tune in. See ya.